Our guest speaker this morning is Nick Arandes.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. I'm going to start with wow, because after listening to James Higgins, who couldn't say that, right? Last time I was here, I had a friend of mine singing, Charles Holt, if you remember him. And I mentioned something along the lines that you can tell when you're doing what you came here to do. You know, and that's pretty much when I listen to him now, I realize that's pretty much what my life is about, to get people to connect to that aspect of themselves that they're supposed to share. Regardless of circumstances, regardless of conditions. And the reason why many people have a hard time moving in that direction is because they're looking at the world of form to determine if the circumstances are right for them to do what they're supposed to do. And my calling in life, in a way, is to help people remember that there's an invisible force, that's the one that is the cause of all that needs to be taking place in order for that gift that you are here to do to express itself. I don't know if you heard me speaking before. By the way, my accent is from Puerto Rico, an islander, that's why. And if you haven't heard me speak before, I was part of, you would call the self-help movement for many years. I was teaching people how to succeed, how to get the stuff they want and everything. And I was a stand-up comedian for 15 years. And I had a promising career, you could say. Deal with 20th Century Fox for television sitcom. I had a lot of things going on my way, but I was not fulfilled. And even though I was really good, and I am very good at inspiring people and kind of motivating or something like that, my life was still falling apart and I couldn't point fingers as to why. I was able to teach people how to go for the things that they want, but at the same time, when I would apply the same principles, sometimes I get the things I wanted, but most of the times I didn't. And I began to question what my life is really about. Yeah, I could make more money doing that, easily. Because there's a whole market out there who's fearful. And if I can tap on your fears with the law of attraction stuff, I can get you to buy my books. Well, that's not what my life is about. And in November of 2007, I took every single book I ever bought on self-help movement, psychology, metaphysics, spirituality, how to get this, how to get that, how to become rich, how to become everything, thousands of dollars of information that I've purchased over the years. I put them in 2 big boxes, took them to the Salvation Army, gave them away. And for the first time in my life, what I actually did is I actually got down on my knees, as you can see in the cover of my book, What Happens When You Let God, or What Happens When You Let Go. And for the first time, I said to God, you use me because I'm tired of telling you my plans. And the topic of today is called Looking at the Forest, or something along those lines, and I'm going to share a little metaphor to explain what I'm talking about. I was talking to a friend of mine who was talking to another friend of hers, and they were walking through a forest. And she was big into this law of attraction thing and how to get what I want and all the things back then, but still there's a lot of things that they were going in her life that they were not going too well. So this friend of mine, who is a practitioner at a church, and his name is Aija, wonderful, beautiful, loving soul, he picks up a leaf, one leaf. He says, look at this leaf. You know what that is? That's the law of attraction. And then he let the leaf go. And then he says, now look around. That's the kingdom. We spend our whole life looking for leaves because we think we can do better. We spend our whole life chasing the stuff that we think is missing in our life because we're afraid of looking within and recognize that the God that is who we are is already everything. You see? So what happens is that when our life falls apart, We begin to start looking for ways to fix it, to change it. And we try all this different paraphernalia stuff, and we go to all this trying things. If we get sick, for example, we're trying the homeopathic, it doesn't work. We're trying the holistic, doesn't work. We try the medicine, doesn't work. We try the gurus, the healers, the book, and everything. And finally, we try prayer, and still that doesn't work. Because we're praying for leaves, and God is trying to shove the kingdom in our face, but we don't want the kingdom. No, I don't want my perfection. I want these little leaves, because I know what's best for me. That's why our prayers don't go unanswered. Because God is trying to get you on your knees. Look, I'm trying to give you everything. Stop arguing with me. So then we go to God after we tried everything. We get on our knees and we go, Father, why have you forsaken me? And God goes, hey, yo, hold it, stop it, whoa, 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 hold it, buddy. That's from Jesus Christ Superstar. He said, let me get something clear here. I have forsaken you? No. See, you get this thing all messed up. You're the one who has forsaken me. You have me with you. You and I are one. You have me from the very beginning. The first thing is to turn to me. But what do? You try to do it your way because you think you do better. And then when all this stuff doesn't work, then you come to me praying, not realizing that you had me first. But the reason why you don't trust me is because you cannot see the perfection in the plan. And the plan is not to keep you small. The plan is to get you to experience who you really are, which is bigger beyond your probably imagination. See? And if you see things that way, then can you see the perfection in your illness? Can you see the perfection in your bankruptcy? Can you see the perfection in losing that relationship? You're trying to feel good and everything so you can change that. Can you see the perfection of President Bush being elected twice? Oh, that's not going to happen. Can you see the perfection in your breakdowns? Because you see, when you don't see things like that, you turn away from me and focus on your stuff. And the reason why you don't see that perfection is because you can only see what's in front of you. I can see the whole picture. How many times the stuff that you thought you wanted turned out to be your biggest curses? And the thought that you thought you wanted and was never given to you, later on in life you realize the gift of not being able to have those things. So what's happening for me is that, yes, I am good at teaching you how to get the stuff that you want. But then I get high on it because, of course, I mean, the ego likes to feel grand. It likes to feel big. Hey, I'm pretty high because I can teach you how to get the stuff you want. You know, so the ego gets bigger. But then later on, the high will go down again. Why? Why was not something that it was permanent for me? Why it was feeling that way? And the reason is because what I was doing, unbeknownst to me, is teaching people how to go for leaves. You see? And the thing about it is that one thing A Course in Miracles taught me is that you are what you teach. If you teach smallness, you are smallness. But if you teach truth, if you teach perfection, if you teach grandeur, you are a grandeur. And how do I do so? It's very simple. In a moment of awareness, when I get down on my knees on that November 2007, I got rid of everything that I always thought I needed. It's like an awareness came through me and it says, not like a voice, necessarily a talk, but it's like, okay, Nick, here's the deal. You're not here to teach anybody how to get anything. Because you don't know what is in their best interest. Not only so, you're not even here to coach anybody how to get what they think they want because they don't even know what's in their best interest. Your job is to hand them over to me. That's all you need to do. Your job is to simply remind them of who they are. Remind them that there's nothing missing in their life. It doesn't matter what their circumstances look like. I'm sharing an experience that I'm going through right now because I truly believe that the best way that I can share these principles with you is not by trying to be this big speaker on the stage or something like that, but to let you know that I have the same challenges that you have. The difference is how I handle them. Before, I thought I had to fix them. Now, I just hand them over to God. And to many people, it may seem like what I'm doing is completely illogical and irrational. It doesn't matter. Because the greatest gift I give to myself every single day, since I've been giving that, my challenges to the Holy Spirit or God, whatever you want to call it, is that I've experienced peace of mind. And believe it or not, since that day in November 2007, every single one of my needs have been met. Many times I didn't even know where they're going to come from. Because what happens is that what God is trying to do, or Jesus or Buddha, whatever you want to call it, whatever you feel more comfortable with, He's saying, look, I know that in the world of form, things look different. But to me, they're all the same. Cancer is no more difficult than a little pink on your thing. Bankruptcy is no more difficult than having everything you want. Because to me, all of them is the same thing. You're afraid because you're buying into something that the ego is putting in front of you to try to get your attention away from the forest and into leaves. That's all. But if you handle your problems to me, handle your thoughts to me, don't worry about how they're going to be fixed. That's none of your business. That's the problem. You're trying to fix it. Put your attention in me. That's all you need to do. I'll handle them for you. That's what I've been trying to do, but you don't trust me because you think that your life has to look in a particular way. You think that if you become the huge star and everything happens the way you want to, life is going to go fantastic and everything's going to be wonderful. Great, ask Michael Jackson. You know? And I know personally people in the stand-up comedy community who I actually had the privilege to work with, who their life was a mess and they ended up committing suicide. And they had everything I was chasing. And what I have right now, that many people don't have, even when it seems like they have their life together, is peace of mind. And I trust that from this point forward, things will unfold the way they're supposed to. I don't argue with the plan anymore. So much easier. I don't argue with the river. I flow with it. One thing in the life of the Course in Miracles that I love, it says, you need do nothing. That's not a nifty little nice line. That you need do nothing means exactly that. You need do nothing. If a doing needs to be taking place, you will be led as to what to do. All you're asked to do is stay here right now, in this present moment. Your life will unfold through the process of life itself. It doesn't need your help. But you will pay a lot of money to people who are going to try to teach you how to fix your life. I did that for many years. So Jesus says to you, here's the deal. Whenever something bothers you, if it's a career issue, not a problem. Hand your problems to me. Give me your thoughts to me. I'll give you peace of mind. And if there's a way for that to take place in which I need your help, not you don't need my help, if I need your help for whatever the reason is, because it makes you feel good, whatever the case may be, I'll inspire you. I'll put the pieces of the puzzle together that will help you get to the next step, because all I'm trying to do is get you to see the kingdom, but you're still putting your attention on leaves. So then, of course, the ego goes, yeah, okay, I understand that career is fine, but how about relationships? That's a totally different ballgame in itself. That's a lot of different problems. And Jesus Christ goes, I see. You think that because in the world of form, they look different than a career, that the solution is different. No, the solution is the same. Hand me all your problems, and I will take care of them. And then the ego goes, okay, yeah, but you know, health, that's a total different thing. I mean, you got career, you got relationship, health is a total different ballgame. Come on, that's a big... And Jesus goes, oh, I see. You think that because career has its own set of seeming circumstances, and relationship has their own circumstances, and health has their own other issues, you think that the solution is different. No, it's the same. You take all your problems, all your thoughts, all your worries, all your concerns, you hand them over to me. I'll give you peace of mind, and I'll take care of the rest. And then, of course, guys go, yeah, but how are women? Oh, that's a different ballgame in itself. You know, I say, oh, I see. You think because they have a brain, and they know how to use it. Fortunately. You think that that's a total different ballgame in itself, right? So here's what I'm going to do. If I try to explain women to you, you're not going to understand them. Forget it. Don't even try. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to call my dad. He can help you understand them in a way that I can, because word is not going to help. So I'm just going to go ahead and call him real quick. Let's give me a quarter. Give me a quarter. I don't have any pockets. I'm wearing a robe. Give me a quarter. What do you mean you're Jesus wanted to manifest it? I'm trying to teach you a lesson. It's called sharing. Give me a quarter. Thank you. I was here 2,000 years ago. You know what gets on my nerves? My dad is the only one thing in the world, the only one and only one. His number should be 111, 1111. But no, it gotta be 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. I got it. He's trying to teach me a lesson. It's called patience. Our brain is busy. You know that Moses always asking questions, you know? Be patient. It's ringing. Yes, hi, hello, yes, hi, is this just... Buenos días, ¿podría hablar con mi papá, por favor? See, I couldn't press 1 for English because it's... Yes, hello? Dad! Dad, hi. This is Jesus. Yeah. Yeah, Jesus. Your only begotten son. See, the guy's a billion years old, so he gets forgetful. Hi, Dad. Dad, I have a quick question here. One of your extensions, of course. He have a question that I know I cannot answer, but I know you can answer. And the question is about women. He wants... Hello? Look, whether it's women or not, hand them all your thoughts to me. That's how simple life is. But we have managed to make it so complicated. Because you see, the reason what seems hard for most of us, and I'm guilty of this for 20 years, so I'm not in any way, shape, or form saying that I'm righteous about it, but I got to this space and I'm just sharing. Okay? Is because when I don't see what's really going on, I get caught up into judgment. I begin to judge. That's what he says, you shall not judge. The reason why he's saying that is because you never know what's really going on. I mean, I said this before, the very first time I spoke here, that you are in the kingdom and we set it for the doorknob. And the funny thing, you know, funny depends upon what you're going through, but the interesting thing is that when you open that doorknob, you're looking outside. You're not even turning within. And I don't know if you've ever seen those holographic pictures that you look at them and they just look like a dots and something like that, but if you stay there, And if you relax, that's the key, if you relax, eventually you begin to see a 3D image in those pictures. Can you see? Anybody knows what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? That's exactly what the kingdom is. Why do you think that every single teaching in one way, shape, or form has said something along the lines, be still and know that I am God? It doesn't say be still and find God, or be still and look for God. Be still and know that I am God, because you are it. All the answers that you're chasing, seeking, looking, that hope that will change your life, whatever, everything that you're thinking to me, everything is right there in that chair. You don't need to go anywhere else. You don't need a guru, a teacher, a book, a class. You don't need any of that stuff. Now, I want to make something clear here, because sometimes language can get in the way. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with taking a class. I am saying practice being still. Come from that place first. Put God first before any decisions you make. And if there's a class or a guru or a teacher or a book that you will need to read, you'll be presented with that particular opportunity, and that particular opportunity will help you further up the progress on your journey, as opposed to keep bringing you back. Because all of a sudden, if you get so caught up into thinking the answers are out there, then you become what is called I would say, a dependent on that. And what God is trying to do is don't become dependent on anything. When I wrote my book, and I don't know, yeah, when I read it too. And if you can go to my website, truthandmiracles.com, you can see all the testimonials that I've been really getting, and I'm grateful for it, but this means nothing, because in reality, the purpose of writing this book is to find many different ways, especially after having 20 years of experience with the other way of looking at things, to remind you the answers are in you. I was interviewed in a radio, and they were asking me, okay, Nicky, but here's the deal, I'd like to explain something to me, and that interview is on my website as well. He said, here you are, you gave up all this stuff, and now you have a book, and you have a website, and you're selling a book, but you're telling everybody they don't need the book. And I said, see, here's the difference. I don't need to persuade you or manipulate you into getting a copy of my book, because my source of supply is not you, it's God. You see the difference? I can share that I have a book. I was inspired to write it, and I wrote it. And if you feel guided to get a copy of the book because somewhere deep within you, you feel connected with what I have to say, you will get a copy of a book without me having to try to manipulate you, because I'm not looking at the numbers. And for many years I learned all the tactics on how to get you to the back of the table to buy stuff you don't even need. And if you've been to those seminars, you know what I'm talking about. Every time when I get on the stage, or even one-on-one, it doesn't matter, I always ask God, God, how can I be of service to the person or individuals that are in front of me? That's all I do. And everything takes care of the rest. Everything takes care of itself. See, James Higgins has a gift of music. What is he going to do? Sit in his bathtub and sing it by himself? He has CDs as well, and definitely from what I've heard, I suggest you get them, But what I'm saying is that it's not about outcome-oriented, which is what I've been taught for all these years, by people who are afraid. Not people who are bad. Nobody's bad here. If I am afraid, I'll teach you whatever I teach from the place of fear. But when I started grounding myself on being God, my source, and my strength of everything, now your life begins to change from outcome-oriented to internally driven. It goes from outcome to purpose. That's the difference. But you see, when you go from outcome to purpose, there's going to be a transition process. And that transition process comes from a particular quote that now I was able to understand it just in the last few years, to be honest with you. The first time I read this quote from the scripture says, look at the birds in the sky. They neither sow nor reap nor gather into barns, yet your heavenly Father takes care of them. Aren't you more important than they are? Well, from my self-help movement mentality, I thought that meant Go for your dreams. Go for whatever you want to do. Pursue the least that you think is going to make you happy, and then God will take care of the details. But then I realized that's not the way it works. If the birds had a brain, with the intellect that we have, they'll be collapsing with each other. They'll be running against the wind. They'll be going to places getting lost all the time. They'll find themselves hungry and starved because they're trying to figure out how to get the stuff that they need. They'll run into weather problems. You see? But the birds, what they do is that they don't fly because intellectually they made a decision to do so. They simply flow with nature. See the difference? When you flow with nature, you are simply led as to where to go. You don't tell God where to go. Because although Disneyland may look very pretty, the ride can collapse. And God is trying to warn you, look, I have something far much greater than that if you could trust me. So in that process, the scary part of it is because when you go the extra mile, like when Dr. One says, you're by yourself. And I had to go through that process. I mean, I was getting emails from how to get this, how to get that, and then all the people that I used, friends of mine and people in the same loft or whatever, they were trying to tell me the next best thing. And if you put your name on Facebook, oh my God, you're going to get everybody trying to tell you how to make money. I thought I was going to make friends. Well, that's not the case. Do you want to succeed in life? Do you got what it takes? Come to my next seminar so I can show you, oh, shut up, you have nothing to tell. I know who's the one that is in charge of my life. All I gotta do is when I get all these distractions, those leaves, to close my eyes and be still. And sometimes some of those leaves may be part of the process for you. That's what I'm saying. I'm not making them wrong. Again, if I am in a place where I think I am a human being instead of a spiritual being, well, God meet me there. God don't expect me to just jump from point A to point B. God basically, okay, I see that you're right now in this space, so let me give you this first, but don't make the mistake of making that the ultimate outcome. And that's where people fall into the trap. Every single thing in our life is a step. And it's a beautiful step, perfectly orchestrated by the Holy Spirit. So don't be afraid of what the step will look like. Just always be very vigilant that it's just a step. Always practice, keep your attention on God, keeping your attention on yourself. See, that's what happens. We put our attention out there, then we come running to God, and He's still looking for God out there. God says, be happy from the very beginning because I'm with you. I am you. But for you to experience that, you have to start turning within. And not be afraid of making a left turn when the whole world is telling you to make a right turn. And that's why I wrote my book. Because when you find yourself wanting to make a left turn, all I can do is to hold your hand and say, I know what you're going through. It's going to be all right. That's why I wrote it. To remind myself of that. I like to play a track from my music CD, which is a copy up there. You're more than welcome to get a copy as well. And it's a song that I wrote many years ago, and I had to sing to myself many times. And I want to tell you now the story that I'm experiencing right now so you can understand that I'm no different than anyone of you are. But I want to show you how I share, how I handle my life ever since I let go and I started letting go. So if you want to close your eyes so you can listen to the song, you can play it now. I believe in you. So you can give you a little bit of my background. That song, as well as every single song on that CD, I play every single instrument on it. I recorded them, produced them, arranged them, mixed them in my recording studio. Unbeknownst to me, I didn't know that many years ago in Orlando, Florida, when I was living and I had the recording studio, I never put the studio to try to record any artists. I just did it for myself, just create my own stuff. And local artists began to kind of see that I was fairly good at doing this stuff. And it was interesting because I was getting creative. And interesting enough, so you could say that I could be a producer and I could do all that kind of stuff. I was a stand-up comedian for 15 years. I would go on a cruise ship and in about a month I'll bring like $9,000. So you can say, and then last time I told the story about when I was doing a tour in Georgia, I felt like a pressure in my heart. I couldn't figure out why I was feeling that way. So obviously there's a plan unfolding along these lines, and I was part of the self-help movement as well, teaching people how to get stuff and how to achieve and how to do the things, and until I fell down on my knees. Well, this past Friday, my roommate moved out to Arizona, and of course I don't have a resume per se to start looking for jobs, and when I was looking for jobs I really wasn't able to find them. And I got some interviews, but nothing would happen. So I found myself kind of like, okay, well, just trusting the process, that's all I can do. So on Friday, she moved out to Arizona. And last night I spent a night with a friend of mine. And yesterday, well, 2 nights ago, yesterday was in a hotel. And what I'm making at the church today is all I have. And it's not that I'm not moving forward with my life. I mean, I have a book that I have some proposals coming up to literary agents and also to a couple of publishers. But you see, if you look at that from the perspective of the ego, which is all the ego wants you to do, you may start judging, maybe concerned, maybe fearful, worried about me and all that stuff. But you see, I look at that from the perspective of Jesus or the Holy Spirit when I simply hand them over to Him. Because you see, right now, as I am going through this journey called life, there's a perfection unfolding, and I'm here not to question it. I'm here to simply trust it. You see, the reason why people suffer in life is not because they're facing challenges, it's because they're resisting them. I'm not resisting anything. Okay? I'm just flowing with it. Look at the birds in the sky. They neither sow nor reap nor gather into barns. Your heavenly Father takes care of them. How many of you right now, you don't have to answer this question, but just for yourself, you're going to walk out of that door and you're going to make a right turn, go to your car, assuming that it's over here, because that's what you've done your whole life. And you're going to do what you do, what you've been doing your whole life. And yet, there's something deep within you that is yearning to fly left. But you think your source of everything comes from the stuff that you have all together, so you're going to make a right turn. What you've done your whole life. And hopefully, if you pay somebody to teach you how to put the pieces of the puzzle together, so then you can start doing the things that you came here to do. Which perpetuates the belief that your source comes from leaves. How many of you right now, if you knew deep in your core that your father will take care of you, or mother, or it, whatever, I don't put gender to God, it's just like that's the way it's been written for years, so I won't take it personally. If you knew that your father or mother will take care of you, doesn't matter what it is, if you knew it deep in your gut right now, today, beginning today, not waiting until everything, today, how many of you walk out of the door and the first time, for the very first time, you start flying left? See, that's what I do. And as of this moment, all of my need has been met. And when it was time to write a book, the book was written easily and effortless. And when I needed a place to stay, the place was found. When Jesus Christ, Sylvester Stallone, oh, what a great comparison, man. When Sylvester Stallone wrote the movie, he was, I think, like $100 in his pocket or something like that, give or take. And he went to a fight, and he got inspired, a burst of inspiration, and he was just screening a movie writer and an actor, struggling. He didn't have anything. He goes to this particular match. He gets a burst of inspiration that says, fly left, fly left. And he went for, in a weekend, wrote the first draft of the script for the movie Rocky. He was flying left. And then the movie, the studio says, you know, we'll buy the script from you for $20,000, but I don't want you to act on it. I don't think you'll be the one for this part. He's not, we need somebody who has a name. And something within me says, fly left, fly left, fly left. And he says, no, I can't. So the studio looks at the movie, they saw the potential, and they said, okay, here's the deal. We can have Burt Reynolds or Ryan O'Neal as the lead, and we'll buy the movie from you for $80,000. Logically, flying right would be the things that would make sense. We kept flying left. We kept flying left. So they said, okay, we found out that Robert Redford is interested in the movie, so we'll buy it to you from $300,000. You talk about pressure. But you see, when you have a gut feeling, when there's something deep within you and you nurture it, and that's what I teach, nurture that. So you don't get manipulated by anybody who's trying to show you a big carrot. Because there will be those carrots. He kept flying left. They final offer, okay, we'll give you $330,000. And he says, I cannot ever go through my life knowing that what would have happened if I would have acted on it. I told you this way. If I'm not the lead role in that movie, I'd rather not have the movie be made. And finally, the studio said, you know what? Okay, here's the deal. We'll purchase the script for $20,000. You will act on it, but you're going to get actor's scales, which is $345 a week. Everybody? He says, I don't care, I'll act for free. But I want to be the lead on that role. They finished the movie. After he got all the expenses taken care of, and agent fees and everything, he only cleared like $6,000. The movie was made. And shortly after that, he was nominated by an Oscar. The movie got the Oscar in, I think it was Best Director, Best Film Editing, and Best Actor. I'm not really sure what the third one was. And to this day, the movie has grossed over $1 billion. Now, please be careful here, because I don't want you to put your attention on Leaf again. This is not what I'm talking about. As I'm sharing my story with you, it's not for you to even feel uncomfortable or sorry. I'm simply saying that I'm not afraid of flying left. And I realize that the greatest gift that I can give you is not to teach you how to fly left, but to let you know, I am flying left, everything is okay, come on. That's what my life is about. And I am grateful for every experience that had led me to this point. I'm heading to my cousin's house tomorrow. Thursday, I'll stay there until Thursday. And of course, I'm just telling stuff that seems to be happening, but anything could change, because again, Spirit always have a better plan. On Thursday, I'll be flying to Maryland. I'm speaking at the Be the Love conference. Coming back on Monday. And what else will happen? I don't know. But I know one thing. It's going to be all right. And I need not to be afraid. Seek you first the kingdom of heaven and its righteousness, meaning far left, and all these leaves and more shall be added on to you. Thank you very much. God bless.